Berachot 23. Introduction. Those days they do not have the health system and the laboratory, the bathroom that we have in the modern days. The few halachot that we're about to discuss involve with the sanctity of tefillah, of tefillin, while a person is not in the proper place. It's like on the scale is what taking precedent, more important. Introductory halacha. The Rambam in Sefer Ahava, Hilchot Tefillin uMezuzah, the Sefer Torah, chapter 4, said as follows: Hanichnas lebet hakiseh, one who entered to her bathroom, that's practical halacha, and Shulchan Aruch, by the way, Orach Chaim 43 said the same thing. One who wishes to enter beit hakiseh, a bathroom, but has no safe place to leave his tefillin, should remove them at a distance of 4 cubits, it's about 2 meters, from the bathroom, wind their straps, cover them with his garment, hold them opposite his heart, and only then enter. He should make certain that the straps are not dangling from his hand. When he emerges, he should distance himself 4 amot, 4 cubits, before donning them again. Now we go to our sugya. Tanu Rabbanan. So why we have this introduction? Because we have to remember that in those days the system was different. What's the difference? A person in those days, they have which they call arai or keva. Arai is temporarily, and keva is a permanent place that people release themselves, because again it wasn't a system. So here is a situation: you have a building, they start building a new construction or building, and they didn't have yet inhabitants, they just in the middle of work. And you walk in and you want to pray. Now, the problem is, if you have a designated place for bathroom, by halacha, you're not allowed to pray. You know that? Gil, do you know that?
Yeah,
by halacha, if you walk in a building, you did constructions, no?
No.
All right. But anyway, there are several people who does construction. So imagine you go to a building in the midst of work. It's not built yet, but there are certain architectural engineering that involved with the building, and they know the certain section planning to have bathroom. So what happened? You just feel this is the time I need to say Shema, or this is this time I want to put a tefillin, or whatever the reason you want to pray there. By Jewish law, you cannot do that. The Gemarah tells us in the Darim, page 7, they said that it's a machloket, it's a different opinion, because it's called mezuman lemkom tum'ah. It's a place that designated for impurity. So when the Gemarah here soon used the word beit hakiseh shelanu, our place of laboratory, it's something like arai. Why? Because if you talk about our times, okay, so you go to a bathroom, I'm sorry, but that's part of the discussion, right? So you go to a bathroom, you flash the toilet. You flash the toilet, it's arai. Why arai? Again, let me repeat myself, so the whole sugya will be easy for you. Arai is temporarily. Keva is permanent. So when you go to our modern bathroom, so the minute a person finished, he flashed the toilet, so it's arai, because it's now clean, because nothing stay there, everything that come in, it's going out, right? Those days, it stayed. It wasn't system. So in the time of the Talmud, for example, they used to do it in the field, Sadeh. So it was a designated place. So in the Talmud's time, what is called arai? Soon you see the word arai, temporarily. What is temporarily? A place that planning to designate it, planning that to use, but no one used it yet. That in Talmud time called arai. Okay. Tanu Rabbanan. Now we get to the sugya. I think it will be easy for us to understand the discussion.
Question.
Yes?
If you have a bathroom in your bedroom, but the door is closed, can you pray in your bedroom?
In general, we don't pray in the bedroom.
Okay.
In general. Some said you can say Modeh Ani because it's no name of God. Thank you for God for returning my soul. But making a real prayer with name of Hashem, you don't do that in a bathroom or in a bedroom. תנו רבנן, הנכנס לבית הכיסא חולץ תפיליו בריחוק 400 ונכנס. One who entered to a bathroom, he need to remove his tefillin in 4 cubit and enter. אמר רב אחא בר הונא אמר רב ששת לא שנו אלא בית הכיסא קבוע. We are talking about permanent. You remember what is a permanent in the Talmud? With the place that people use in the field. אבל בית הכיסא ארעי, but something that is a transient, is a temporarily, חולץ ונפלה לאתר. Right? So he is take off the tefillin, right? And נפנה, release right away. וכשהוא יוצא, when he leave, מרחיק 400 ומניחן מפני שעשהו בית הכיסא קבוע. You have to go 4 cubits and put back the tefillin. Why? Because he changed the status from what? From temporarily, from arai to kavua, to permanent. Now we have a dilemma raised before the sages in the yeshiva. מהו שייכנס אדם בתפילין לבית הכיסא קבוע להשתין מים? What is the halacha if one wants to enter a regular bathroom wearing his tefillin in order to urinate? Ravina Shari, Ravada Bar Matna Asar. Ravina permitted to do it, Ravada Bar Matana prohibited it. Atu Shailu El Rabba, they came and asked Rabba. Amarlu Asu, he said to them it's forbidden, why? Chayshinan Shema Yipane Bahem, Ve'amrela Shema Yafiach Bahem. There is 2 different concerns. One said that the fear is that he has released himself, and one is the fear is that he is basically it will carry a bad odor, you know, while he needs to release himself. Tosefta said here, ודווקא בבית הכיסא קבוע חיישינן שמא יפנה בהם. We are worried only if it's a permanent place. אבל בבית הכיסא ארעי, but in the place that he is temporarily, שאין רגילים לפנות שם, place that people don't go there, מותר להשתין בהם. ולא חיישינן שמא יפנה בהם. We don't concern about it. Anyway, תניא אידך. Another brighter. So again, halacha. What's the halacha? If you have a tefillin in a bathroom, tefillin bebet hakiseh. So the Shulchan Aruch 43 said, one may not go to bathroom while you have the tefillin in his head, or enter the bathroom under those circumstances. As the way Rava said, we have a big sign here. Please do not enter while you have talit even to the bathroom. תניא אידך, הנכנס לבית הכיסא קבוע. Another brighter said that one who enter a regular bathroom, חולץ תפיליו בריחוק 400. He take off his tefillin in 400, 4 cubits, 2 meters from that distance from the place. ומניחם בחלון הסמוך לרשות הרבים ונכנס. And he put them in a public window, 4 cubits from the public domain. And he entered דברי בית שמאי. ובית הלל אומרים, בית הלל hold, או חזן בבגדו בידו ונכנס. But Hillel said he must remove the tefillin, he hold them in his hand and he enter. רבי עקיבא אומר, או חזן בבגדו ונכנס. רבי עקיבא hold that he hold them in his garment and enter. So, several points. Why I need to put it in the window? So I want to clarify what's happening. In the field, they have those issues in those days with mice. In the bathrooms, they have other, or in the public place, they have several concerns. You see soon. One of the concerns are the thieves, are the prostitution and things like that. They have all kind of concerns in public. So when it's come to this, he needs to put it in the window that it's a public domain, so you don't have mice in that area because it's a field. So the Gemarah asks, "Wonder bebigdo sagadatach?" They ask what Rabbi Akiva said, that is enter in your mind to say that the garment zimnin mishtele uvenafle. There is a room for concern because sometimes he forgets them and they fall. Ela ema, rather you should say, O chazal bebigdo ubiado venichnas. He hold them in his garment and in his hand and enter the bathroom. He hold the tefillin in his hand and cover them with his garment. That's exactly what we mentioned earlier, the halacha of the Rambam. Umanicham bachorim asmuchim lebeit hakiseh. Right? So he placed it in a hole, place close to the bathroom. ולא יניחם בחורים הסמוכים לרשות הרבים. It does not place them in a hole too close to the public domain. שמא יתלו אותם עוברי דרכים ויבוא לידי חשד. Because the people who pass by take them. Nowadays you understand it because who told me, I don't remember, one of the members, I don't know if it was Elliot, one of the people said that he bought the tefillin for like $1,400, $1,500 tefillin. I think Nati,
it was Judge Legum.
Maybe Nati told me that I think it was 1,500. I knew a guy in Muncie, what is his name, Doctor that came. He said that he bought the tefillin for 1,800. You know, if you separate the tefillin in different sections, which means you have a scribe and you have people that put them together, you can end up with a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, there are people who buying it, selling it, and who knows what they're doing with that. I'm sorry for digressing. I'll tell you a story. When I was a rabbi in New Jersey, a million years ago, 17 years ago, I was a rabbi for a little more than 5 years. So I used to fly from JFK, from Kennedy. One time, I don't forget that, I was waiting for the airport. It was in those days, if you remember, it was attack and in Israel and all those planes that flying New York, Tel Aviv, and Newark, Tel Aviv, they delayed, and all kind of problems. So I was sitting at the airport, and a tall guy, Afro-American, saw a religious guy sitting in the airport. So he came there and I showed him, he says, "You want to buy it? It's a Jewish stuff." I look and I saw one of the I need to talk to you about the tefillin a lot, so I bought one of the pair, the Rashi, not Rabbeinu Tam. So he is holding in his hand the head tefillin, and he said, "Do you want to buy this?" So I said to him, I right away entered a debate in my mind, because everybody understands that he stole it from someplace, right? So I said to him, "Oh, how do you get it?" Because they look like almost brand new, or brand new. So he said, "I bought it." So I said, "Where's the other one? It's a pair." So he said, "I don't know, I have just one." Now I have a problem. What's the problem? If I don't buy it, he can either trash them, you know, who knows what he's going to do. On the other hand, if I buy them, I have no use basically, because it's only head tefillin. "How much?" I said. "Give me $200. I said, "You crazy? I can get that for $20. I just make it up because I figure out, let me get a bargain or something, because my only goal was to get it out of his hand and not to start fighting at the airport or go to police and get troubles. It's in the airport, you're sitting there, you know, that place that everybody can enter in and out. To make long story short, he went down to 100. I have a problem. I figure out he maybe in a second backed off and said goodbye, or I put the $100 and get it from him. So I said, the bottom line is I give you 75, either you take it or leave it. So he said, give me 75. I pulled out $75, I gave it to him, and I took the tefillin. I brought it to Israel. A friend of mine, he's a scribe. He looked at them, he says, they are brand new. I said, take it, maybe you have some use. But why I'm telling you that story, it's because you see here in the Gemarah, they said, Shema yitlu otam ovrei drachim v'yavo lidei chashad. The Gemarah said, lest the tefillin will be taken by people who pass by, right? And will come and, you know, take them. And then come to suspect. There's all kind of ideas what they're going to do with that. But anyway, chashad, by the way, they meant, in a sense, chashad is a person go to a private place, okay, and somebody, in that case, take his tefillin, and that place is basically a place that they have prostitution, right? So chashad in the Talmudic time mean that they people will think that maybe he goes to a prostitute and things like that. And here is the evidence. The Talmud said, "U'maaseh betalmid echad shiniach tfilat bachorim asmuchim lerashut harabim, u'bat zona achat u'netalatam." Terrible story. It was incidents that the student put his tefillin in a hall close to the public domain, and a prostitute passed by and took his tefillin. Horrible. Ubat lebet midrash, and she entered to the study hall, most probably bad person, right? Ve'amra, and she said to all the students, "Re'u ma natan li ploni bischari." See what so and so gave me. Instead of paying me cash, he gave me this tefillin in exchange for our relations. כיוון ששמע אותו תלמיד כך, when the student heard that, he was so hurt and so broken-hearted, עלה לראש הגג ונפל ומת. He just committed suicide. He ascended to the top of the roof and fell and died. So after that terrible incident occurred, and they made the investigation, and determined that she lied and everything, right? So באותה שעה התקינו שיהיה חזן בבגדו ונכנס. So as a result of that, at that moment, they instituted that one should hold them with his garment and his hand and enter to avoid situations of that kind. תנו רבנן, בראשונה היו מניחים תפילין בחורים הסמוכים לבית הכיסא. Earliest time they used to put the tefillin in the hall close to the bathroom. ובאים עכברים ונוטלים אותם. You remember what we said? That the mice came and take them, and you know, mice, what the mice do with anything, you know, ignore them up. התקינו שיהיו מניחים אותם בחלונות הסמוכים לרשות הרבים. They should place them in a hall close to public domain. And then the next thing happened, right? Why they want to put it in a window? Because over there, the main people pass by, is no mice. ובאים עוברי דרכים ונותנים אותם. However, what happened? It's another problem. People who pass by, right, and take the tefillin. התקינו שיהיו חזן בידו ונכנס. So ultimately they institute that one should hold his tefillin in his hand and enter. So one of the reasons we have the cover of the tefillin, you know, the bite, this part that we cover the tefillin, it's because it's a protection with kedusha. That you have the box, so it's protected. Amar Rabbi Miyasha b'Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rabbi Miyasha, son of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, said, what's the halacha? Halacha golelan kemin sefer v'ochazan b'yamino keneged libo. So he said that one rolls the tefillin and strap like a scroll, and hold them in his hand opposite to his heart. So basically the way that we put in any form, there's some do it here, some do it there, and basically, but you're wrapping the tefillin and you set them up in a certain way, so that's part of that idea, they're like a scroll, and hold them in the hands. So the whole idea of roll up the tefillin in the strap like a scroll, one of the manner is that the head are rolled, probably the method called in Gemarah like a scroll. That's the idea of scroll in a certain way, that you put it like the way that you roll the scroll in both sides. That's one of the idea. אמר רב יוסף בר מניומי אמר רב נחמן, ובלבד שלא תהא רצועה יוצאת מתחת ידו טפח. רבי יוסף בר מניומי said in the name of Rav Nachman that this is provided that the strap of the tefillin does not emerge from the hand breadth below his hand. So again, I want you to remember one thing. The tefillin has kedusha, has a special sanctity. That's the reason why you see me all the time kissing the tefillin. Why it's a kedusha? Number one is the name of Hashem in the inside. You have all these parshiot inside. So you have those parshiot that put it inside the tefillin, it's carry kedusha. That's obvious. But if you go outside of that head, the box of the tefillin, you go to the straps, it's also carry kedusha. Why the strap carry kedusha? Because this is part of name of God, right? Some have it as a yud, some have it as two yudim, right? It's the name of God. So since you use these straps to express name of God, and you use it already for the name of God, it's carry a certain kedusha, and therefore you cannot hold this stripe in regular manner like your regular things. And in that sense, there's no differentiation between the box itself or the parshiot inside and the straps. Okay? אמר רבי יעקב ברח אמר רבי זריה לא שנו אלא שיש ביום שהות ביום ללבשן. He said this was only taught if one roll up the tefillin, there is a time left in a day to don them. אבל אין שהות ביום ללבשם עושה להם כמין כיס טפח ומניחם. But if it's already night, right, and one handbreadth punch of salt of them and place them in it. So it basically, the whole idea of tefach, it's nowadays when we have this bag of tefillin, it's more than tefach. Remember, we said a tefach is in the size of the hand. This is amah and this is tefach. So in the size of tefach is a place that you can put in. This is bigger than the tefach, but that's the whole idea, that you put it in a place that they have this side. אמר רבא בר חנא אמר רבי יוחנן ביום גוללן כמין ספר ומניחן בידו כנגד ליבו ובלילה עושה להם כמין טפח ומניחם. There is difference between day and night. If it's a day, you roll up the tefillin like a scroll and place them in his hand opposite in his heart. But at night we don't put the tefillin. In those days many people have the tefillin the whole day. One of my rabbeim, may rest in peace, he wrote Skamato, one of my books, Rabbi Chaim Pinchas Sheinberg, who was one of the giant scholars, who was a Rosh Hashiva of Torah. He used to wear tefillin all day long. So it's a lot of halachot involved if you wear tefillin all the time, because there's a certain sanctity. But he said, "Balayla uselem kemin kis tefach." The night you put it in a bag that they have the size of tefach, that's the minimum, and you put it there. Amar Abaye לא שנו אלא בכלי שהוא קליין, אבל בכלי שאינו קליין אפילו פחות מטפח. All of that in regard to a vessel with tefillin, regular vessel, but the vessel is not the regular vessel, so even less than the tefach, the handbreadth, it's fine. If you remember the tefillin that Nati, well, I think Gil, you have that size. It's a special Israeli, I think tefillin Bet El made it. There's a special, it looks like an army bag, not only with the in the way that they put it, but basically you have two covers. You have one regular cover, and you have another one is a special cover and a special cover. You know, they made it in a certain way. אמר מרזות רבי תמר רבה שתדע שהרי פחים קטנים מצלין בו אל המת. So מרזות רבי said Rav Shashi, as proof, that's the distinguished law of impurity states that only a space at the least of tefach of a handbreadth can serve as a barrier to prevent the spread of impurity imparted from a corpse, right, a dead body. Nevertheless, smell sealed vessel less than a handbreadth is sized to protect the contents from any ritual impurity, even if they are inside a tent over a corpse. So this proves that even a space smaller than a tefach, the handbreadth, can serve as a barrier before impurity. See, that's a bringing from the Tuma. Here's a story, and is a few things. First of all, we learn the idea of chatzitza. Chatzitza, it's like a, not mechitza, chatzitza. Chatzitza, it's like you have a separation that create a problem. As an example, if I have my watch, it's called chatzitza. In other words, when I put the tefillin, I need to take off my watch, so it's no chatzitza, there's no separation between the tefillin and my hand. If a woman needs to duck herself in a mikveh, she cannot wear rings at that time because it's chatzitza. It's separation. It needs to have direct contact. So in that sense, here we talk again about this issue of chatzitza when it's come to impurity. And now we learn another important story. So he said that Amar Rabbi bar Chana כי הווה אזלינן בתרי דרבי יוחנן כי הווה באי למאה לבית הכיסא כי הווה נקית ספרי דאגה לתייהבן לן. So we follow Rabbi Yochanan, and he needs to go to the bathroom, and he carries his Gemarah in his hand. So when he needs to go there, what did he do? He gave it to us. Okay, he gave it to us, and we hold it until he comes back. Okay, but he said, "Ki hava naki tefillin lo avelan." But if you wear the tefillin, so he didn't give it to us. So several halachot. First, let's talk about pachim ktanim. Tosefta here explained that when it's come to chatzitza, when the place that it's the dead body, so it's a problem. You need to have some separation. Here, he entered to the bathroom, and he still have the tefillin. So they ask a question: how come you do that? You're not supposed to, right? Amar ho'il v'sharun hu rabanan ninteran. In those days, they're afraid of mazikim. They're afraid of all kind of, in our languages, demons or whatever it is. In those places, in the Beit HaKiseh, the Talmud said in few places it was in those days. So, one of the protection against those entities is if you are in tefillin. Tefillin is like a mezuzah, is a safeguard of you. So he felt and he said, since the sages permitted to hold them, they will protect me. Amarava ki azan azlian batrei de Rab Nachman. It's a very similar story. He says, when we follow after Rav Nachman, if he carried the Talmud, book of Agadah, he'll give it to us. The same thing. When he held the tefillin, he will not give it to us. And he said, since the sages permit to hold them, they will protect me. Halacha. So they said in Halacha, Rambam in Sefer Ahava in Chot Tefillin 5, he said, "Lo yochaz adam tefillin biyado v'sefer Torah bizro v'yitpalel." So soon you see all the implication, the discussion. The idea is one may not hold his tefillin in his hand or Torah scroll in his arm and pray why he is not in the absolute state of purity. So soon you see an examples of what we are talking about. If you pay attention, you see that when there's any problem with the Sefer Torah, we always use the talit or something. We don't touch the scroll directly. It's an issue. So the same here. We have several issues with while we are having the tefillin. So he said as follows: Tanu Rabbanan lo yochaz adam tefillin biyado וספר תורה בזרוע ויתפלל ולא ישתין בהם מים ולא ישן בהם לא שנת קבע ולא שנת ארעי. So the sages said one may not hold his tefillin in his hand or the Torah scroll in his arm, and pray because he's concerned that the tefillin Torah scroll might fall, will distract from his prayer, which means they use the word if a person urinate, sleeping with them, even something that is just a brief nap. It's a problem. Now, what's the problem for a person if you're wearing tefillin and you napping? What's the problem?
Well, it's somewhat disrespectful. I mean,
so in general, they call in Hebrew rikuz. Person cannot focus. In other words, in general, when you pray, you have to have full kavanah, you have to have intention. But Rashi here explained, you see in the word Shenat Arai, that Rashi said something very, the rabbis have an issue with that. They said Shema Yafiach, that if he, in that state, he can have some bad odor come out of his body and it's disrespectful for the tefillin, while he's not in control. The rabbis, most of the rabbis disagree with him. There is a discussion in the Talmud, Tractate Sukkah, page 26a, and I highly recommend that you should read there. But to give you the abbreviation, there are two great rabbis, Rabbi Akiva Iger and Vilna Gaon, that said that Vilna Gaon even go and said that it's a mistake in a Rashi. And they are both hold that the fear is that it made that the head tefillin will fell out of his head, which means that's the big fear. The Rosh and Rabbeinu Yonah said that the big problem is that he's just taken up, and it's called Hesech Hadat, that he's not focusing, that he is it's called in Hebrew Kalut Rosh. It creates a reckless attitude, or reckless when you're putting tefillin. So he said, אמר שמואל, סכין ומעות וקערה וכיכר, הרי אלו כיוצא בהן. Shmuel said, not only one holding his tefillin refrain from prayer, but one holding a knife, a money, a ball, a loaf of bread, of a similar status, as he's concerned that he might fall with distract him from his prayer. אמר רבא, אמר רב ששת, לתלכתה כהמתניתא. He says the halacha is not according to this braita. Why? The Beit Shammai. You remember the Beit Shammai talked earlier about, it was this machloket we mentioned earlier between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel, right? So the Beit Hillel ashta beit hakiseh kavua shara beit hakiseh arai mibaya, that if you tell me it's according to Beit Hillel, so Beit Hillel said that they allow to go to permitted to hold the tefillin in his hand in a regular bathroom, permanent. But if it's necessary to say that it's permitted when he urinates in the makeshift bathroom, which means that it's a different. So a few halachot. First, let's see the Shulchan Aruch Or HaChaim, both in 43 and 96. They said lo yochaz adam tefillin biyado v'sefer Torah b'zro'o v'yitpalel. One is prohibited from holding tefillin or a Torah scroll in his hand while praying, which means the same is true in reciting Shema and Psukei de Zimra. One must refrain from holding anything valuable like money or other object of value, and is concerned that they may fall and damage or distract him from praying properly. So the whole idea is that we want to have the proper set mindset. So you should not be distracted with other things. So when I just digress for a second. There's a story about Rabbi Yitzchak of Barditchev, the great Hasidic Rebbe. So he was always the defender of the Jewish people. So one came to him and said that he praised a fellow that was doing a lot of things while he's davening. And it's inappropriate. The person should focus while davening. You should not wash dishes, right? When you're davening, you're not clean your car. You're praying, right? So that's just a Hasidic story. So they said to Rabbi Yitzchak, he says the opposite. He said, look at this fellow. That even at those moments, he's still praying, even the time that he's doing the daily mundane things. But in general, that's not the proper decorum, not the proper way. So it's a note. The idea is one may not sleep with them. So Rabbi Akiva Eiger said that the reason is that they might fall off in his sleep. That's the reason that we said that not like Rashi. Meitive. דברים שהתרתי לך כאן, אסרתי לך כאן. מה אליו תפילין, אמרת בשלמה בית הלל התרתי לך כאן קבוע, אסרת לך כאן בית הכיסא הרי, אלא אמרת בית שמאי, לא שרו ולא מידי. So again, the Gemarah here raised an objection based on the second part of the Braita, which we taught the matters which I permitted you to do here, I prohibited you from do others. So there is all discussion here between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel. So did not permit, Beit Shammai did not permit anything in a regular bathroom. So why is the meaning of this matter which I permitted you to do here? Kitanya la'il inyan tefach utfachayim. So this challenge is rejected by Gemarah because what is the Braita was taught is not in reference to tefillin, but in regard to the matter of one tefach, one handbreadth and two handbreadth. ותניא אידך לאחריו טפח ולפניו ולא כלום. And the taught in Braita, when one relieve himself, he must maintain modesty and bear a single tefach of his flesh behind him and two tefachim before him. And he says in another Braita, I might only bear a single tefach behind him and nothing before him. Right? So the big thing is it's a discussion basically in halacha what one should do, you know, in this type of situation, because they need to have some type of mechitza. So the basic discussion here is they want to define a different type of need. There is a situation that the person needs to go to a bathroom for a small versus you know, large amount, etc. So there's a discussion here. So again, it's a different status of needs when a person needs to release himself. So again, let me abbreviate the halacha. The halacha is when a person praying, for example, if a person daven shacharit and he is wearing tefillin and he has any need to go to a bathroom, he has to take them off and go to a bathroom. What is the problem for a person to release himself? And I don't know if you pay attention, but sometimes if you look at me doing davening, I'm going to a different side of the shul and not staying in my place, because sometimes it's a bad odor that comes from somebody, and it's a problem to pray in that situation. Mm-hmm. So the proper halacha is to take the tefillin off and go to the bathroom. There are some pskei halacha that the person who has serious intestine tissue should not put the tefillin at the first place. But it's clear that we not suppose, if it happens unintentionally, it happens. But the person, if he knew that it's coming, he not supposed to hold it and pray. And we, as others, if we have that smell, we have to go arba amot from that place. So here's a discussion, the size, etc., etc. יחי הדקטנה לה, זהו קל וחומר שאין עליו תשובה. מה אין קל וחומר שאין עליו תשובה? מה אין עליו תשובה? דרכה מילתא לאחית עליו תפילין ותיובתא דרבא אמר רב ששת תיובתא. So the Gemarah challenged this, and he said, if so, this is what should toss and regarding halacha in the Braita. It's the whole idea, that's the kal v'chomer, you talk logically, that we don't have that is no response to that. So he said this is a conclusive refutation that Rabbi and Rabbi Sheshet said in the Braita, and referring to the tefillin. And the Gemarah indeed concluded that is tiyuvta, that it's a conclusive refutation. So it's a question. So basically, there's a few things. The Taz hold that the person should not hold anything while he's praying, and anyway that they try to differentiate between permanent bathroom and temporarily. But again, the lechatchila, all of that has to be clear, that the person should not, especially nowadays, should not have anything, not even a talit, not even a sidur. מכל מקום, כאשר שאתה בית הכיסא קבוע, שער בית הכיסא הרי לו, כל שכן. If you allow permanence, so temporarily, why not? אחר כך אמר בית הכיסא קבוע, דלי כניצוצות שערי. There's some permanent that is not a drop of urine or anything like that. You allow בית הכיסא הרי די כניצוצות, עשרי. However, if it's a temporarily bathroom where one stands, there is no drop, may touch his hand, as you say is prohibited, יחי amai, אין עליו תשובה, תשובה מעל יעיד. So it's a why you said it is no refuted, it's a excellent refutation. אחי כמה מלתתית לה בתורה תמה ולא תתת לה בקל וחומר, דיאתי עלה בכל תורה קל וחומר, זהו קל וחומר שאין לו תשובה. So if you go by the קל וחומר, you have no rebut. תנו רבנן, רוצה להיכנס, we are running out of time, רוצה להיכנס לסעודת קבע, מהלך 10 פעמים 4 אמות. Okay, so if one wants to partake a regular meal, so he needs to remove חולץ מהלך 10 a regular meal, and that was the last of some time, so he paces a distance of 4 cubits 10 times, or 10 cubits 4 times, in order to expedite the movement of his balls, right? או 4 פעמים ואחר כך נכנס, and then he enter and partake the meal. So that way he spread himself from unpleasantness of being forced to live in the middle of the meal. Correct? Obvious? By the way, that's the halacha. The Rambam in Sefer Amidah in Hilchot Deut, we studied recently with Rabbi Meir, right? So he said clearly that our Seder mitzvah, it is common courtesy that before beginning a meal, one should ascertain that whether or not he needs to relieve himself. If he does not, he should see to do it beforehand as part of the way that we teach in the Braita. אמר רבי יצחק, הנכנס לסעודת קבע חולץ תפילה ואחר כך נכנס. If one enter to a permanent meal, a regular meal, he remove his tefillin and enter. ופליגה דרבי חייא, דאמר רבי חייא מניחן לו שולחנו וכן הדור לו. And this statement disputed by Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia said, during a formal meal, one places his tefillin on his table, and then it is admirable for him to do so in order that they should be available to done immediately as so desire. So until when the meal must be refrained from wearing it. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak ad zman bracha. Rav Nachman said until the time of reciting the blessing grace after meal. תנא אחד עצור אדם תפילה במהותיו והפרקוסותו, ותנא אידך לא יצור. So it's a machloket. One said that one may bundle his tefillin with his money and his head covering. It's called a parksuto, right? So it's just a come from the Greek, right? A parkisition. It's a gown or garment, and it was taught in another braita one may not bundle his tefillin with money together. So what's the answer? He said, Gemarah lo akasha, this is not difficult, not a conflict. Why? It's one distinguished, say that the Braita provided the tefillin and money together referred to a case where the vessel was designated for use for tefillin. So if you designated the tefillin, you should not take their money and tefillin, you know. But דאמר רב חיסדא הסודר דתפילין דאזמנה למצר בתפילין צר בתפילין אסור למצר בפשיטה אזמנה ולא צר לי צר ולא אזמנה ושאר למצר בזוזה. So he רב חיסדא hold with regard to the cloth used for tefillin, if one designate to bundle the tefillin in it, and it's prohibited to bundle coins or bundle other things because it's designated for that purpose. But he said it's not a bundled tefillin in there, it's not designated for this purpose. You just pick something, so then you can put both tefillin, both money. But in a regular situation like this one, so it said clearly the Rashi or Rabbeinu Tam, so it's designated for tefillin, so you hold that you should put tefillin or other sacred things. So according to Abaye, who said that that designation is significant, the Abaye hold that all relevant halachot apply to an object designated for a specific purpose whether or not it's been already used for that purpose. The halacha is אז בני אף על גב דלא מי צר בי. צר בי אז בני אסיר, לא אז בני מותר. So he said that the halacha is, if he designated the cloth, even if he did not bundle the tefillin in it, he is prohibited to bundle money in it. However, if he is bundled the tefillin in it, and if he designated the cloth at a particular use, it is prohibited to bundle money in it, but if he did not designate to do that, it's not prohibited. בא מן הרב יוסף ברד רב נחוני מרב יהודה. מהו שיניח אדם תפילן תחת מרשותיו? What's the halacha if one wants to put under his pillow his pair of tefillin? What's the issue? תחת מרגלותיו לא כמי בא אלי שנוהג מן הביזיון, כי קבע לתחת מרשותיו מאי. So if you tell me that you want to put it under his feet, that's bizayon, that it's no dilemma, because it's written them in disrespectful way. It's not right to put it under your feet. But how about under his head? What is the halacha in that case? Amar lei, Mai amar lei, hachi amar leShmuel mutar afilu ishto imo. So Rav Yehuda said to him, Shmuel said as follows, it's permitted even if his wife with him is in bed, which looks like, but he said he's allowed. Meitivei, לא יניח אדם תפילן תחת מרגלותיו מפני שני גויים דר מזרחיון, אבל מניחם תחת מרשותיו. So a person should not put it under his feet, but he put it under his head. ואם הייתה אשתו עמו אסור. So the one hold that if his wife with him, again, they may enter in the relations, so it's prohibited to even place it on his head. ואם היה מקום שגבוה 3 טפחים או נמוך 3 טפחים מותר. But there is a place where he could place the tefillin 3 tefachim, 3 handbreadths above or 3 handbreadths below. In his hand is allowed, is permissible, as the space is sufficient for the tefillin to be considered a separate place. Tiyuvta de Shmuel Tiyuvta. So this is absolutely a conclusive refutation of Shmuel's statements. So the Gemarah concluded, indeed, is an inclusive refutation. In language of Talmud, if you use the word twice, Tiyuvta is an unsolved problem. Amarava, afal gav de Tanya Tiyuvta de Shmuel hilchet akvatei. So Rava said, even you said that it's conclusive refutation of Shmuel, the halacha is according to his opinion is matter. Maitama, what's the reason for this? So they said, Kol lenitruyu tfei adif. He said, because wherever they offer more protection is preferable, even in the cost of these type of things. So the halacha is, the Pnei Yoshua said that called tfei adif, whatever offers more protection is preferable. This reason in itself will not be sufficient to allow Shmuel to dispute the ruling of the Braita. So the idea is that Shmuel relied on a different Braita, which is a thought that tefillin may be brought into a regular bathroom. The priority place on protecting the tefillin led the Gemarah to adopt Shmuel's opinion in this matter. Then basically we said here ve'echal manachlu. So from what place you put the tefillin? Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah said ben kar lechesed shelo keneged rosho. Rabbi Yirmiyah said he placed them between the pillow and the mattress, not directly aligned with his hand, but rather a bit on the side. So you see here that it's a lot of halachot we learn today in how to treat a tefillin, how to treat a place that we, in a sense, while we're praying, but is the whole status and the mindset when we are in a state of sanctity, and in the best case scenario, if, as we said, if there's any circumstance that the person have any alert feeling, should just take off, if it's a talis or tefillin, whatever it is, and release himself properly, rather than to now, if it's mincha and mariv, and not the time that it's the same halachot. And if you are someone else's situation, you have to stay away 400, the least.